Hello and welcome back to the Frost Seymour experience. I'm Paul Seymour.
And I'm Nick Frost.
Hello Nick, how you doing, man? How's things?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Obviously we've gone for the first round of fixtures this week. Lot to talk about, some few surprises in there. Is there any kind of standout ones that stick out to you?
Well, I think we all enjoyed the Liverpool-Leeds match, by far the match of the week, and your boys were quite lucky to win the points in the end.
Yeah, we did, man. I tell you, Leeds played fantastically well. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to come up with going forward. But without further ado, let's have a look at the first round results.
Let's bring up the results.
All right, here we go. So there we go. So we've got obviously Sheffield United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Chelsea 3, West Bromwich Albion, West Brom 0, Leicester City 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Everton 1. If you want to read out the second parts of the results.
Arsenal thumped Fulham really 3-0.
They did.
Crystal Palace beat Southampton 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
We've already mentioned Liverpool beat Leeds 4-3, and West Ham went down 2-0 to Newcastle.
Yeah. So, other than obviously the thrilling game at Anfield, of course, what kind of result really stuck out for you?
Well, I mean, I think we've got to start with it, haven't we? My big prediction of Tottenham in the top four. It's not looking too great from the outset.
Well, I hate to say I sold you so, but I see these things.
They looked awful. They looked terrible.
It's
a friend of mine told me it looks like the players are already trying to get rid of Jose.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah,
but it already looks like they're in their third season with him after only less than a year still.
Yeah, I did see that. But in fairness to Everton, I'll give them their due. I thought they played really well. I think James Rodriguez was fantastic. He was pinpointing the way he moved around the pitch was brilliant. He's world class. He is world class. So I can't knock him for that. And I think the whole team, Everton, played really well. There was some standout thing. Alan played really well as well. But that was a shock. When I seen 1-0, I thought, here we go. And especially with Carlson when he missed that not open goal, I'd say, but he did all the hard work and then skipped it just at the end. But if that's the sign of things to come.
Well, I have just noticed on the news recently, today in fact, Tottenham are in talks to bring Gareth Bale back. Yes,
that would be an outstanding re-signing, if you will. He obviously came over from Southampton originally, didn't he, over to Tottenham. So to have him back from Real Madrid, I mean, at the end of the day, what's he doing over there? He's not doing anything. He's not even sunning his tan. He's just playing golf, isn't he, mate, most of the time.
He's a big golfer.
Yeah, big golfer, like. So, bringing him back to the Premiership would be great, especially for Spurs. Not so much for the rest of us, but I think even his experience will speak volumes, to be honest.
Yeah. Last night's games, Wolves, Sheffield. Wolves looked very good.
Mm-hmm.
They were 2-0 up after 6 minutes.
Yeah.
They were a good team last season. I thought they might struggle this season.
Yeah.
They lost a couple of players, but they're still looking bloody good. Traore is just a monster still.
Yeah.
I think they're going to cause a few upsets this season.
I agree completely. I think last season they had a fantastic season as well, but Sheffield United did as well in many respects. But 2-0 down after 6 minutes, like you say, it's massive, really, when you think about how quick that was. Sheffield United tend to have crumbled really quick. Obviously, Henderson's not there no more, so whether that'll impact them, I'm not sure. Early days, see if they can turn it around. It's a home result. I think a lot of these if you look, there's a lot of away wins here. I think having no fans around kind of also. In the opposite, it speaks volumes, I suppose, because there's no volume there. But yeah, so it's Wolves looking good, as per.
Yeah. Chelsea, off to a flyer. The big money club. Spent 200 million.
Yeah.
Money well spent so far?
I think so. I think the team they've got they're going to be gelling well. There was moments where I thought Brighton were running rings around them, especially for Brighton's opening goal. I thought that they dominated for a good 5-10 minutes, and so there was about 5-6 Chelsea players around that goal at the time when it went in, and I was just like, wow, it was a stunning strike, of course. But then obviously then they went 2-1. That was a fantastic by Reece James. What a goal! flyer. And I hope, as much as Frank's now decided to go from youth to now buying players in, big name players, I hope that he does give that youth a chance still, like he said he was a year ago. So let's hope James does keep his plays going forward.
Yeah. Leicester, I was very happy to have a little Vardy party with a couple of pens, as he's in my fantasy football team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
But Leicester, they looked... did you see the match?
I didn't see the match. I've seen the highlights. I can't stand Leicester's kit, just to point that out. Sorry, Leicester fans.
The kit's terrible.
It looks terrible.
At the start, Leicester did not look good, but they got stronger and stronger as the game went on.
Yeah.
And I think they may go on a little run, kind of like they did at the start of last season.
Okay. An early prediction. For Leicester having a run, yeah?
They're going to get stronger. Maddison's just coming back to full fitness.
Of course, yeah. Definitely. I think he was a good player last year, stand-up player. Vardy obviously was outstanding, of course, as he always is. But yeah, I think Leicester looked good this season. I know obviously Gary Lineker on Twitter was very happy with that. Him and obviously we'll get to Newcastle. Alan Shearer and Piers Morgan were very happy with their results. Talking of that, obviously Fulham 0, Arsenal 3. Again, it's Fulham, the new boys. I always thought they were, set to go down one way or the other. I didn't think it'd be that bad that quick. But Arsenal are just basically carrying on from, the Community Shield result, obviously from before that as well, the FA Cup final. We're looking good this time, Arsenal. We've just heard tonight that Aubameyang is going to be staying on. So they've got a lot to look forward to, Arsenal fans. I think this season's going to be good for them.
Massive at the Aubameyang news, absolutely massive for them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, unfortunately for Fulham, like we both kind of thought pre-season, it doesn't look like they've got enough to stay up, I'm afraid.
No, it's a shame for them, really, because I don't mind Fulham as a team. I like the traditional pitch they've still got. I just think that stadium is like old school. It reminds me of the old school football game. So I respect them for that and their heritage. But yeah, I just think it's pretty much solidified my decision to say they're going down. There's no ends about it. I know it's only game one, but unless they can pull off some miracle, I just can't see them staying up at all.
So,
who's
and
next?
What about your boys then?
Yes, Liverpool Leeds. Do you know what? I was unfortunately I was stuck at my work establishment, so I didn't get to see the game properly. But I did watch bits and pieces as it was going in. Again, I thought Leeds played outstanding. I thought they played Liverpool, their own game in many respects. The early days when they were pushing hard on each player. I noticed when I was seeing back and forward when they were attacking, especially for Click, I think it's his third goal. The third goal for Leeds is there were 5 players in the box against 2 Liverpool defenders. It was almost as if they were trying to attack, but they're willing to go back as well and defend like crazy. So I think a mistake by Van Dijk didn't help. He's been world class throughout so many games, so I can't knock him for that. But things like that need to cut out. Gomez was sometimes non-existent. We had 2 penalties. Debatable in some regards. I thought the handball, well, in some other games it can maybe not, and some other games it will be. So I can't really say for that myself personally. As a football fan, I would have been, been kicking off. But as a Liverpool fan, I was delighted. But yeah, I think it's not so much how Liverpool played bad. I'm not gonna. Yeah, they didn't play great, but they didn't play bad. But it's the fact that I'm not gonna say that Leeds didn't play good enough to win that, because they played outstandingly well, and I think they're going to shock a few teams this season. I really do.
Well, let's not forget they've just come off from the Championship. Yeah. First game away to the champions, you've lost 1 game at home in something ridiculous, right? Like 60 matches.
60 games unbeaten at home now, yeah.
And they didn't sit back. They went at Liverpool. I mean, you could not be impressed with them.
Well, that's the respect. I've always said it. When Mourinho would bring clubs over and he'd just sit back and, he's obviously part of the bus is his infamous name, but the fact that, I love teams, I respect teams that will come at us and they'll say, come on, let's give it a go. And that's what Leeds did, and that's why they got my utmost respect. So, yeah, fair play. Obviously a bit short on Saturday, but I wish them all the best for the rest of the season, except for when they play the return leg, of course.
They're definitely going to shock a few, though.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man.
And the final game, West Ham Newcastle. You have any thoughts on this game?
West Ham Newcastle, I didn't see a lot. I've seen obviously Wisdom scored for Newcastle. I think he's going to be one to watch again. I think he's going to be the Danny Ings of this season going for Newcastle. I think he's going to pull out some some shot goals, and I think Newcastle played really well from what I'd seen. They're not quite as well, I'd say, your Leeds or like your even your Everton at some points. But I think Newcastle play really well. Whether they'll be up and around there, I'm still not convinced. But we'll see. I gotta say, first game in, they took it to them, and fair play to them.
Yeah, Bruce is doing a good job there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for West Ham, doesn't look too promising at this stage.
No. Again, I think the fans not being there is massive. I think it's massive for every club. Like I said, we forgot to talk about Palace, of course. I know it's going to be a quick one, but it's only us and Palace that, or Liverpool and Palace, not so me. I never played, but they're the only two teams that win at home. So I think, like I say, it's just, I think there's away game vibes are kicking in, and we'll see what's happening in the future. But just to talk quickly about Crystal Palace, it wasn't the greatest game. I expected a bit more, if I'm honest. But again, Palace got the goal they needed from Zaha. Again, it's one of them players I mentioned earlier last week that I think he's vital for them. I did think he was going to leave just to kind of give him a second chance at something, maybe a top 4, maybe top 6 club. But fair play to him. He's got his head up and he's kicking on still, even though he's probably not really what he wants to be.
No, I mean, unlike you, I thought that game had snooze fest written all over it before the off. But there was one notable thing from that game. I don't know if you noticed. There was a red card which was rescinded after the referee went and checked the VAR himself on the pitch, which they've been encouraged to do this year.
Yeah.
Good decision, getting them to do that.
I think so. I think that's a great decision. I think having them to, when I seen the kick, obviously the reaction, was the reaction. That's just the way it is. Being kicked on the foot, that's going to happen. But the fact that the referee actually went to the screen now, just like they did in the World Cup 2 years ago, they checked it out, they seen what they seen, and they decided to swap it around. I thought that was a great decision. I really did, and rescinding it is a good decision also. What do you think about the whole VAR thing? Do you think it's going to be improved this season?
I think it's better if the referee does that, put the decision back in the referee's hands, as opposed to just everyone hanging around on the pitch waiting for someone in a room to make a call.
Yeah.
He goes and looks at it himself. He makes the call. It's and it's done.
Yeah, that's it.
Much quicker. There was times last season when people, two teams were just hanging around like several minutes at a time. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Yeah, they can't see it from that area, can they? So
I think they've got a good move there.
And just to point out another thing as well, what do you think to the linesmen not putting up their offside flags until the goal's actually either been scored or gone out of play?
Having played football ourselves in our younger days, obviously we're both knocking on a bit now. If I'd done a full-on sprint, and they hadn't bothered raising the flag until much later, you'd be absolutely devastated.
Frustrating, isn't it? I seen one of the players the other day. I think it was Zaha actually. Yeah.
If they're offside and they interfere, the flag should go straight up.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think as much as they've improved with the referee going to the screen, I think they've gone backwards a step by not throwing that flag up, because again, it does stop any kind of like madness from happening. Like I say, you could score a perfectly good goal and you think, I've scored a goal. The goalkeeper said, well, yeah, go ahead, score it because it's offside, pal. I ain't going anywhere. It's going to cause a few issues, I think.
Indeed.
So,
shall we have a look at the round 2 fixtures?
Yes, do it. Yes, go straight forward. Yes.
So we've got them listed here. We've got quite a few games on both Saturday and Sunday, and then again we've got a couple of games for Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Your big rivals, Man City, make their first appearance of the season Monday night.
Yes, against a team who beat them home and away last season. So
tough match for your first game. So Wolves are going to be a little bit sharper. Tough match anyway in any circumstances.
But you know what? Man City showed a bit of solidness last season. Not so much in the Champions League, of course, but in the league they were really firing on all cylinders, especially towards the end. It's almost as if they thought they had the extra chance to catch up or something randomly. It's just they put the pressure on. I think it'll be a closer game at Wolves. I honestly don't think this game. I don't think Wolves are going to win this one. I think Man City will either draw or either win up maybe 2-0. I just think the Man City are going to have their fangs out this time. I think, me personally, I just think they're going to go for it and have a bite of the wolf, if you will. Although I hope Wolves win, just because Man City and all that.
there any standout games for you there? I mean, obviously we've got Chelsea, Liverpool. It's a huge Super Sunday.
Yes, that's massive again. Klopp and Lampard have been going at it back and forth, just kind of like subliminally and stuff, and haven't they? So it's built up a little bit of a rivalry. I think the fact that we missed out on Thomas Werner as well, I think that's going to bring a bit into it, so that people are going to talk about it. It's a media's dream at the moment, that game. So I think that's going to be the big standout game. Let's hope it's not a ball draw, of course. But obviously we're introducing new teams as well, because obviously we didn't see Man City, Man United, of course, Villa, West Brom. So we're going to see what they're all made of as well.
Yeah, we've got Leeds versus Fulham, so it's a battle of the newly promoted teams.
Yeah.
I know it's only the second game of the season, but I'd say for both teams that's a massive game.
Yeah,
100%. If you can beat a fellow promoted team, whoever loses that game is going to be in big trouble.
Oh yeah, I think if Leeds played the way they did against Liverpool the other day, I think they'll be fine. But then
push Fulham aside.
I think that Fulham are going to be a little bit, in for it, because their teams like on the same kind of level, well, a bit higher than them, but on the same kind of level. Whereas Arsenal was just obviously way ahead of them. But I think it'll be a close game. But I think Leeds will pick up their first win, definitely.
What else stands out to you there?
There's not a lot going on there. I think obviously Southampton, Tottenham, not going to be a massive game. I think Jose's licking his wounds. He's obviously want to try and bounce back against Southampton, who were quite dire the other day. Leicester, Burnley. Obviously, I forgot Burnley. Of course, they didn't play the other day, did they? I think that was their first game coming up as well. So not really. I think Leicester's going to do that. West Ham, Arsenal. I think Arsenal's going to have too much again. I'd like to see how Man United get on. They've obviously got this reimagining of their force. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes was banging them in last season, whether it be penalties or whatnot. But he still had that confidence boost. Let's see if that carries on. But yeah, other than the Chelsea Liverpool game and obviously Wolves Man City, I don't think there's a lot there to kind of bite on.
Do you think, for Man United, do you think De Gea will still be the number one? Obviously, they've recalled Henderson from Sheffield, who had a phenomenal season last year.
Yeah, I think to save face a little bit, I think Ole will go for De Gea. I think he'll give him that chance, and Henderson will be on the bench. I don't think he'll put Henderson straight in, because if that's the case, De Gea will feel a bit like kind of bewildered. If he does, if he's got the cojones, as they like to say, or the grapefruits, Ole should put Henderson in and give that guy a go. It's his first game, start of the season. Let's see what he does, and that will give David De Gea an opportunity to think, right, I'm either book up my ideas or potentially look somewhere else. Depends if he wants a challenge. So I'd like to see him in, but I don't think he will be in.
Okay, let's quickly run through them. We'll go. What's your prediction for each game?
Prediction for each game. Okay, cool. So Everton, West Brom. I think Everton will win 2-1 in that one. How about yourself?
For Everton, West Brom, I think Everton are the banker of the weekend. I think that's the only absolute nailed-on result there.
Yeah.
Everton to beat West Brom.
Yeah. Any scores or just?
Let's go 3-1.
Oh, 3-1. Okay. So you think West Brom will get the goal just like I do? Yeah, I think they'll get one.
James Rodriguez is going to get his first goal for the club.
Oh yeah. Oh, they'll love that, wouldn't they? The booze.
And the fans go wild if they were
there. yeah. Oh, what was it? That's what Vardy did the other day, didn't he? So you got obviously Leeds, Fulham. I think Leeds will have enough for Fulham to take away Fulham. I'm going to go for a little bit of a higher score. I'm going to think 3-1 on this one.
Yeah, I agree. Leeds have just got too much firepower.
Mm-hmm.
Fulham, they haven't strengthened. They're still a championship side. 2-0 Leeds.
2-0 Leeds. Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
What do you think to Man United, Crystal Palace? What's your prediction for that?
Again, a club we haven't seen. It's hard to do a prediction for, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Palace were not great. United, on paper, the much stronger team, obviously.
Yeah.
But they have had trouble with Palace before.
They have.
Zaha in particular often causes them problems.
Yeah.
And who could forget Townsend's wonder goal against them that time?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, wasn't that against Man City when he hit that in the back of the net as well? It was like a volley.
He's probably done both, to be fair. But he's definitely scored a worldie against Man U.
But, Town, yeah.
I'm going to go 1-1. Man U Palace.
Go for a draw.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Man United. I think they'll score. I think they'll defend. I just think for the first time they're gonna look a bit okay, but not overpowering. Myself. Arsenal, West Ham. What do you reckon?
The London derby.
Indeed.
West Ham, they looked awful, absolutely awful in their first game. Arsenal, they looked good, but obviously they were only playing Fulham, so it's hard to get a realistic assessment of their level.
Definitely hard to predict that, isn't it, really, with him?
2-1 to Arsenal.
2-1 to Arsenal, okay. I think they're going to replicate their result last week and win 3-0. I was going to say 4, but then I thought I don't want to really push it, really, I think. But I think 3-0 at least to Arsenal when that comes up.
Southampton, Tottenham. This is already a massive game for Tottenham.
Yeah.
They need a result here.
Definitely.
What do you think?
I think, honestly, I think if they don't pull out a result here, and it has to be a win. They can't settle for a draw. If they do get a draw, they'll be looked at awkwardly, of course. But then, in saying that, what's going to happen to Jose? Let's just say they got pounded 3-0. What's Jose going to do? I mean, they're going to get rid of Jose. Have they got someone to replace him? If it's too early in the season to say, they've got to give him a chance. So I think that he's going to have to pull out all the stops here. I think Tottenham will get back on the stride, and I think they'll win 1-0.
1-0? Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Okay.
Southampton, they're a middling team, aren't they?
Yeah.
Their season's not going to be decided against the likes of the Tottenhams.
Yeah.
So,
that's it.
1-0 Tottenham, I agree.
Fair play.
Newcastle Brighton. Now, again, for me, pre-game, this looks like a snooze fest.
Yeah.
0-0.
0-0. You go for 0-0. I think that Brighton will play well. I think they'll score 2, but I think Newcastle will score 3. I've gone the opposite end of it.
The complete opposite.
I think it's going to be the opposite. I think that Brighton, if they played a little bit like they did against Chelsea, they held them off quite well. I think they'll do the same against Newcastle. It's different firepower, of course. But I think Newcastle have got a little bit of extra buzz in their step this season for what I've seen. And I just think, honestly, I think they're going to win 3-2. It's going to be madness, but I reckon that's happening.
Well, let's hope it is.
Aye.
The game is on telly, of course. It's on a Sunday.
Yes. Yeah.
And the big one, Chelsea-Liverpool.
Yeah.
The big spenders versus the big winners.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you know what? I'd love to see a Liverpool win. Of course, I would. I think I've got a feeling it's going to be like a 2-2. I think that Chelsea will score first. I think Werner will score, and then obviously Liverpool are going to be on the back foot a little bit. Then I think after the second half, I think Chelsea will get a second, and they'll put the pressure on Liverpool, get one back, and then around about the 80th minute or something or whatever, Mane will score or Salah will score. One of the two will bang one in. It'll be a 2-2 draw for me. I don't think either one are going to win.
Fair enough. I think I probably would also agree. It's probably going to be a draw. I wouldn't stretch to a 2-2 though.
Okay.
Maybe 1-1.
Go for 1-1.
It's a Super Sunday. It's 4:00. It's going to be this hyped up game, and how often are these the games end up being damp squibs? Yeah,
it is, isn't it? I think both teams have got enough firepower to have a good go at it, so I'm just hoping they do.
Game.
Yeah, let's hope for a good game. Well, I'm hoping for a bloody win, I am, but fingers crossed.
Leicester Burnley. For me, after Everton, Leicester at home to Burnley is probably the second strongest selection.
Okay.
Leicester 3-1.
3-1. Wow, okay.
I'm hoping for another Vardy party, obviously, for my fantasy football.
Yeah, another hat trick, or something like that. I can't see further than that. I think 2-0 Leicester. I don't think Burnley will score, but I think Leicester will win that. There's no doubt about it to me. I think that's a given for me.
Okay.
So.
Villa, Sheffield United. Obviously, Villa just about survived last year, whereas Sheffield, they had a hell of a season.
Yeah.
And we've just had the news, Jackie Boy, he's signed on, hasn't he? 5 more years.
Big Jack Grealish, who I was compared to, actually. My boss is a Villa fan, and he actually, when I did really well at work last week, he said, I'm the Jack Grealish of the company, which made me laugh. High praise from him, especially. But
you get that Jack Grealish haircut now, then, don't
you? My hair's a state, so I stuck a hat on today. But of course, I mean, big news for him to stay with his local lads, local team. Fair play to him. I think that he controlled a lot of the games last season. I think it was down to him why they got a lot of the results they did, like the good ones at least. Yeah, what do you reckon for scoreline? Yeah, you're thinking, what do I do?
Tough one. That's of all the games, I'd say that's the hardest to predict what's going to happen. Sheffield to win 1-0.
Okay, 1-0.
I
think 2-1 Villa. Yeah. I do think 2-1 Villa. I think they'll start strong and then they'll concede one like near enough near the end. But
could easily see either of those happening.
Yeah, I think especially the controversy that happened last season between the two teams. Had it gone the other way, who knows what could have happened. So,
and then finally,
yes,
the big gun, Man City, come roaring into the scene.
Yes,
we've already kind of gone over it though, so we'll just go straight into a prediction. I'd say 2-1 Man City. I think they will because they had the double done over them last season from Wolves. They're going to be out for revenge. It's going to be their first game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ake is going to be making his debut. Yeah, 2-1 City.
Okay, 2-1 City. I'm going to go for the same. I think Man City win. I'm going to go for 2-0. I think they'll have enough to hold off Wolves this time round. And I can see Man City. I can definitely see Man City winning this one. I'd like to be proven wrong naturally, but I just think Man City are going to be too strong from this time.
There you go.
So
that's our look at the results and the fixtures. Shall we have a quick glance at the table?
By all means, yeah. And if you're obviously watching this, by all means, put down in the comments what you think is going to happen, and obviously let us know because obviously we like to have a bit of a competition every now and again and see if ours heads up. And if obviously your results do stand out, we will hide them. I will pin them to the top of these comments lists. That's how that's what we're going to be doing. So
see if you can beat the experts.
Yes, the experts.
I say that very loosely.
Loosely, yeah, like loose men. This one. So obviously just brought up the football table here. So obviously anyone who's listening, you can hear the table being shouted out. So predictably at the start of the season, no one knows what it's going to look like. Obviously at the end, if it's going to replicate it, of course. Arsenal fans will definitely be happy there with them and Leicester. Top of the table, Arsenal, 3 goals. I don't know what determines them being top out of them two at the moment because they both had 3 goals.
Maybe it's alphabetical.
Alphabetical, I suppose. Yeah, just man win the league by alphabet. That's crazy. But Chelsea obviously there as well in third with their 3-1 win, and Newcastle with 2-0 as well as Wolves. So yeah, not a lot to go. The top 5. Obviously Liverpool, winning 4-3, just the 1 goal difference. Palace winning, Everton winning by the 1 goal, and we haven't seen nothing from Villa or Burnley yet, of course. So, early
days. We haven't seen anything from them, but I bet they'd take a 9th and 10th place finish right now.
Oh god, yeah, especially Villa. I think Villa would love that 9th. I think that'd be like an amazing season for them at current predicament. So, not bad for Arsenal fans to look on, especially now.
And then obviously Man City, it's the lowest they've been for a while, but of course they still haven't played.
Yeah.
Likewise, Man U, 11th from 12th. Leeds, most would say unlucky to be down in 13th after their performance.
Yeah.
Southampton, 14th. And then Spurs, shocking, 15th.
Yeah.
And I hope Jose picks things up pretty quickly there.
Yeah.
I'd say Brighton, currently 16th. Probably where they're going to finish, I would say.
You think? Yeah.
I reckon so, around there. Sheffield United, 17th. Bit of a blow, considering their previous season.
Yeah.
And then the bottom 3 is interesting because two of them, Fulham and West Brom, I think we both picked to go down.
Yeah.
Already bottom and second from bottom.
Yeah. I said Villa.
West Ham 18th.
But
they're going to struggle, but I do think they'll stay up.
Yeah, I think West Ham will. See, West Ham are one of them teams that kind of like, you watch a match of the day and they're like the 7th team on, and they just pull off a 1-0 win against Southampton or a 1-0 win against like a Brighton or something like that. I think West Ham will stay up. I think the predictions from last week, I'm sticking to them obviously, so are you of course, but it's early days, of course, nothing's reflected yet, and we'll see how the second, I think when we get to round 5, I think that's when things will start kind of shaping a little bit, especially how it's been the last couple of seasons. Obviously I loved our dominant league win last season. I loved it, and the fact we just missed out the season before. I'd like to see a bit more open, obviously us winning again, of course I'd love that, but at the same time it'd be nice to see a bit of openness, so around second all the way down to, say, I don't know, 10th, being within about 5 or 6 points within each other. I think that'd be awesome. A bit more open, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It looks like it's going to be a cracking season, I'd say, so far. On the evidence we've had.
Yeah.
Although there's much of it, yeah.
No, not yet. It's good to watch, though. It's good to watch everyone back into it, and obviously new teams as well. Just a quick one before we end the video, because obviously it's coming up just to 30 minutes now. What would you say your standout player of the week was, real quick?
Player of the week? Well, can't really look past Mo Salah.
Okay.
I don't think he had the best of seasons last season compared to the season previous, but this weekend I thought he looked absolutely world class. I mean, Leeds, they weren't scared, except it seemed when Salah was on the ball, it looked like he was terrifying those defenders.
Yeah.
And obviously got the goal, the penalty, and then a cracking finish.
Yeah,
and
that goal.
He just looked great on the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I was obviously made up. I'm going to go, and this is going to sound so odd, but I'm going to go to the old Blue Noses and pick out James Rodriguez. I think that his first game in the Premiership, he showed his quality straight from the start. And I was watching the other day, and I just thought, goodness me, like, this player is just so good, and I hate the fact that he's gone to Everton, because obviously I think if he pulls the strings there like he does at the moment, I think he's got a massive season ahead. Massive. So it's a bit disheartening as a Liverpool fan seeing that, and I hate to say it, but as a football fan looking on, I just thought he was tremendous this week. And obviously I can't knock Mo Salah, I love the guy, but for me I think James just pulled ahead for me. So sorry all my fellow Scousers, the Blues will be happy with me, not the red side. They're happy with you, but not with me.
Right, well, I think that's about it for another episode of the Frost Seymour Experience. Indeed,
it's been great fun. Again, please let us know in the comments. I know we asked last week, we didn't get no comments, so I know you're watching. There's 90 views. Get your comments in the bottom below. Tell us what you think it's going to look like early doors, what your players of the week were, and ask us any questions you want. We're going to be answering all the questions you need. We're early YouTubers, so we're getting started. Help us come along, and hey, we might be in the next Chunks and Manny, as it were, going over to Sky Sports earlier this week. So. Can imagine us sitting on the table talking to Jeff. Fingers crossed one day.
See.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could teach him a thing or two.
Yeah, I think we will. Cool, man. Happy days. Okay. Yes, it's been a pleasure.
Bye, everyone. Stay safe.
Yeah, and take care of yourselves. Catch you next week.